Hey everybody, it's Hannah and today I'm going to be reviewing the movie Melbourne Rewind, and this was one of my most anticipated book-to movie adaptations of last year because this was adapted from the same title of a book that I really love, Melbourne Rewind by Wina Effendi. So both the movie and the book tells a story that takes place after this guy called Max just comes back to Melbourne after years of pursuing his dreams and leaving his girlfriend behind, Laura, in Melbourne. But when he comes back, he meets again with Laura and we get to see their interaction and how their lives were already quite different, and we also wonder with them whether or not there is a new path for their relationship in the future. And in between that, we also get to see a lot of flashbacks about how did they meet, why did they break up, and I think it's a lot more than that. I personally love the book and the movie because it incorporated a lot of elements and themes that I really like. It plays, or rather it shows about nostalgia, about loss, about missing somebody, and it questions whether or not you can have love and career or whether they have to be prioritized in a way that will hurt one but lift another, or if you can have both. And it also questions what does it take to have or maintain a relationship. Falling in love is not the end of the story, you know, there is a story after that, and when you break up, it's also not the end of the story sometimes. I really like how they already have a relationship in the first place and then it was broken, and then we get to see how it all came into place, and then we get to see the progression after they break up. Also, I felt like in the book, music was a big part of the book. It also made me enjoy the book a lot more because there was this constant soundtrack that makes the vibe and the situation, and also just like it set the scenes in my mind, and I loved it so much. In the movie, I felt like they chose great soundtracks, but I was also missing some songs that were very intertwined with the scenes. For example, in the beginning of the book, when Max was coming back, there was the reference and definitely an influence of the song Back to You by John Mayer. And then there was a monumental scene in the middle, towards the end, maybe in the middle, when the scene was totally influenced by One and Only by T-Tor. I don't know how you say the singer's name, but definitely that song was beautiful. The scene was also heartbreakingly beautiful in the book, but they could not get those two songs into the movie. I understand why. I totally understand why, and I also like the songs that they have in the movie, but it's just those two songs I really love. I liked the movie as a movie. I like the dialogue, I like the tones of the movie, I like how they romanticize Melbourne. I actually just went back from my vacation to Sydney and Melbourne, and I went to a lot of the places that Max and Laura went, whether it be in the book and in the movie, and I loved those places. I feel like they keep the plot and the setting very nice. Now let's talk about the character, Laura. Laura was played by, if I'm not mistaken, Pamela Bowie. Yeah, it's Pamela Bowie, Hannah. And she was okay as Laura. I really like her costumes, and I think that her short hair with the beanie really suits her as Laura, but she's not the Laura that I had in mind. It's not the physique that she had that makes me think that, oh, she's less Laura than I would like her to be, but it's more of the way that sometimes her response to things were just innocent in a cute way. The way that she's doing it, she's letting her emotions show up in her face, and that's not a bad thing. But to me, when I was reading the book, I would think that Laura was a more reserved person, and when she was blind of Max's interest in dating her, I would think that Laura would respond in a cynical, not believing way. But in the movie, with Pamela Bowie as Laura, she responded in an innocent, cute, I don't know, is it really kind of way that I would think, that's not what I pictured Laura's response to be. You know what I mean? But other than that, I like the way all the actors acted. I think the dialects work and the talents also work, so I enjoyed it. Let's talk about Max. I was quite missing how a lot of the chapters were in Max's perspective, but in the movie I think we follow Laura a lot more. In the book, Max's passion and Max's personal life were definitely a big part of the book, but it was kind of diminished, and I was like, again, I understand all of these things, but since I'm kind of judging it as a book to movie adaptation, Max's story was diminished, and that was not the worst thing. But then I don't buy Max's passion in the movie at all. There was this scene where Max was trying to show Laura his passion for light, and it was in his room. I could see just how much Max loves light, but in the movie, not really. And even the scene where he was trying to do the same thing was very, very laughable for me, because he was in a room with Laura and then a neon light pops on, another neon light randomly pops on, until like 5 neon lights are probably on, and then he was like, this is my life, you know, I really like light since I was a kid, and now every time I see light I see you. I was there like, I don't buy you, I don't buy what you say, and I don't buy what you're trying to say to Laura. I don't see the depth of the scene at all, and it was quite as a disappointing moment because it was a deep moment, you know what I mean? C was exactly what I had in mind, so no complaint, she was all okay. Even sometimes he turned into this comical character that was kind of away from what I thought Eben would be. Sometimes he's over the top. We're coming to the end of my review, so let's wrap it up again. As a movie, it was good. I like the Melbourne, I like the scenes, I think the dialogue worked, I like how these actors interacted with each other, I like the tones of the movie, I like the themes, but there are some things that just didn't work for me, like I told you before. But most of all, I think I appreciate how what I felt when I was reading the book was brought to the screen, and I felt quite similar feels when I was reading the book and when I was watching the movie, if that makes sense. So if you were kind of disappointed by the other book to movie adaptations in Indonesia maybe, or in general because not a lot are great, you might want to see this one. You might want to watch it and then tell me how you feel about it. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in my next video. Goodbye. Dalam diam